Hi everyone, Title Update 2 brought a number of new toys, so let's have a look at how they've impacted bow builds. A quick overview first. Both the Laggy and Seregios bows are besting slots for their respective matchups, and their armor sets are both used in competitive endgame builds. The new Adrenaline Rush 3 charm is also used in most competitive builds as well. In terms of the best bows to use for each matchup, well, close range coating is still king. The Laggy bow is best for the Thunder matchup, while the Seregios bow is best for raw matchups like for Arkfeld. In fact, I think the Seregios bow can be good for all matchups if you can get the special coating uptime pretty high. For bow skills, it's still the same mold. It takes Spread, Critical, and Bandolier and Elemental Attack in some combination. If in a particular fight you can get a chance to use a lot of 1000 dragons, then True Shot Jewel would be a good option as well. Now let's have a look at the armor builds, which is the main part of the video. We'll start by looking at general builds. There are a number of builds in this section, and I'm going to list them by ascending order of damage. Note that the numbers that I use for comparison in this video are calculated from a damage calculator, and I'll put the assumptions in the video description. I also want to emphasize that the numbers shown in this video are an estimate only and act as a rough guideline. Things can and will be different in a real fight. The first build is what I would call an all-rounder build. It's a 2 Laggy, 2 Gore build with Zosha Helm. Laggy armor is great in terms of slot efficiency, and the set bonus, while not the greatest, is still an offense-orientated bonus. And the impact of the Thunder damage proc will vary greatly depending on which monster you're fighting, so I've kind of simplified it for comparison purposes when doing the calculations. This build has great damage. In fact, it's 0 to 1.7% better damage than the old meta builds, which you can find in my previous videos. It's got max constitution and stamina surge, and it's got a number of free level 1 and level 2 slots. Level 1 slots are kind of whatever, but for level 2 flex slots, there are a number of notable options. So Ambush and Counter-Strike for some additional damage, or Earplugs, Evade Window, or Part Breaker for some additional utility. This is a baseline build, which is great in all situations. Next we have a 2-piece Gore, 2-piece Zosha build. So it's got the same damage as the all-rounder build. The advantage it has over it is the passive health regen from 2-piece Zosha. However, as a trade-off, it has no free level 1 or level 2 slots. Next, we have the 3-piece Rey Gamma 2-piece Gore build. This is pretty much the same as the old build, except it now runs Adrenaline Rush 3. It's got 1.1% more damage compared to the all-rounder builds, and it has Guts, which provides inbuilt death protection. However, on the flip side, you're required to run Black Belt High Food due to only level 2 in Constitution, and it also has no additional free slots. 4-piece Seregios is also a great build. Here, we are mainly taking advantage of the 4-piece set bonus, which adds 5% attack whenever you proc another Discerning Dodge while Adrenaline Rush is already active. It does kind of rely on that to get the damage in. Because this set doesn't run Gore, its affinity is actually quite low. However, that's offset by the sheer amount of attack you're getting from Adrenaline Rush 5 and the 4-piece set bonus. It's got 1.9% more damage compared to the all-rounder build. However, it has quite a lot of downsides, such as no stamina surge, being quite reliant on proccing the second Adrenaline Rush quickly, and it has no free level 2 slots. Next, we have a Latent Power build, which is a variant of the 3 Rey Gamma 2 Gore build. So here we are leaning a little bit more into Latent Power, but not all the way so. So we only take 3 levels in Latent Power, which is enough to almost max out affinity when it is active. It still has good damage even when Latent Power is not active. So before Latent Power procs, it has 0.4% less damage than the all-rounder build, which is not a lot less. And depending on the uptime of Latent Power, it can go up to as much as 3.9% more damage compared to the all-rounder build. He also has built-in guts, and notably, you can also eat Moxie food to get double death protection, which is quite comfortable. On the downside, he has only Stamina Surge level 1 and no free slots. And last but not least, for general builds, we have a variant of 2 laggy 2 gore, in this case taking the Zosha chest, and this is a damage focused variant which trades some stamina and free slots for more damage. It's got 2.7 to 4.0 more damage compared to the all-rounder build, depending on the uptime of latent power. On the flip side, it requires black belt low food, it only has Stamina Surge level 2, and it's got no free slots to work with. That's all in terms of the general builds. As you can see, the damage is actually quite close on all of them, so use what you feel comfortable with. Next, we'll look at some specific elemental matchup builds. For Thunder matchups, we have a Convert Thunder Resistance set using the laggy bow. This build is a bit of a variant of the all-rounder build, where we focus on getting more Thunder resistance in order to take advantage of Convert's Thunder resistance. This is the best in slot build for all Thunder weak monsters. For Dragon matchups, this is our old Convert Element 3 set. It uses the G-Arc bow, 2 Arc Veil pieces and 2 Gore pieces. You can only play this against Dragon weak monsters that also have an elemental attack in order to proc Convert Element. Speaking of Convert Element, sometimes it's also worth slotting in a few levels of Convert Element into a build even for non-dragon matchups. You can do this by using the Arc-Veiled Helm, Arc-Veiled Greaves, or the Convert Element Charm, depending on the rest of your build. The benefit of doing so is that the Dragon Blast damage procs still occur even when not using a dragon weapon, and it is pretty competitive in damage versus the alternative, versus whatever it's replacing. However, more importantly, the damage procs flinch the monster each time, allowing you more control of the fight. And that's all the builds for now. Hopefully that was helpful and interesting. Now there's certainly bound to be more variants and other builds out there which are quite competitive in damage compared to these, and you can tweak some of these builds to suit your playstyle as well without losing too much damage. Overall, Title Update 2 did impact most bow builds and has given a slight power creep in terms of damage. That's all for now, see you next time, thanks for watching.